someday, but not today. Not today. Oh, let's get this shit over with. What's up, bitches? So today we're gonna kill two birds with one stone. Let's just get right on into it, shall we?
I was walking past a cemetery the other day.
Oh, it's a story. Alright, let's get some popcorn and gather on, folks.
And I saw some people standing around a grave in the cemetery. It didn't look like a funeral, so I decided to go into the cemetery and check out what they were doing.
Well, maybe they were visiting a grave, or maybe they were filming a movie. You never know.
I walk over to this grave, and the person who seems to be leading this little gathering tells me, "Excuse me, young man, you need to stand back. We are digging up a coffin here."
Oh, they were grave robbers. Okay.
And I responded, "Excuse me? Did you just exhume my gender?"
So I guess this is the level of comedy that we're at right now?
Hey, if you're gonna make jokes about transgender people, can you at least make them funny? Like, make some jokes that binary and non-binary trans people can laugh at? Please and thank you. This has been a PSA.
Oh, so it was a PSA about trans jokes. So hold on. You got triggered by trans jokes. Oh my god, well I guess we're bringing back this.
I'm triggered.
Alright, that's one little birdie down. Now on to the other little birdie, Riley J. Dennis. Oh, I feel that my level of wanting to kill myself is getting a little bit higher.
In 2014, Laverne Cox said that misgendering trans people is an act of violence.
Oh wow, that must be a new fucking record. Only 4 seconds into the fucking video and I already want to fucking end myself.
Since then, she has repeated this statement multiple times, but some people still don't want to believe it. So I thought I'd explain why intentionally misgendering trans people is an act of violence and why you shouldn't do it. But to get started, we need some definition.
Please, Riley. Please educate us on what real violence is.
Misgendering is the act of referring to someone by the wrong gender or implying that they are a gender that they are not. So if you call a boy she or refer to him as a girl, that's misgendering. You can misgender cis people or trans people, but it's particularly dehumanizing when done to trans people, and it's something that basically all trans people have to deal with at some point. Of course, there are times when people intentionally misgender feminine cis boys or masculine cis girls as a way of trying to reinforce arbitrary gender roles. And that's awful as well, but I'm mainly going to be discussing misgendering towards trans people in this video.
If a person misgenders another person, it can either be on accident or they can be a dick. It doesn't mean it's fucking violent.
Violence is a harder thing to define. Several dictionaries say that it involves the use of physical force, including the Merriam-Webster and Oxford dictionaries. However, dictionaries are not intended as all-knowing, unchangeable rulebooks. They change and adapt over time as our usage changes. They are almost always descriptive rather than prescriptive nowadays. I would argue that their definition of violence is outdated and doesn't encompass all of the forms of violence we recognize today.
Oh, well in that case, let's just change the definition of feminism. Because in your own words, definitions change. Oh wait, I forgot. Feminism never changes in your guys' eyes.
And the World Health Organization agrees with me. In their 2002 World Report on Violence and Health, the WHO defined violence as the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself, another person, or against a group or community that either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. This definition is purposefully broad. The WHO recognizes in their report that violence is culturally influenced and varies widely across the globe.
You found one broad definition. Good for you, good for you, good for you. It still doesn't exclude the fact that it said, and I quote, "The intentional use of physical force or power." Physical, like this. Physical. Calling you a man is not violent.
The point is, it's a bad thing that we shouldn't do. Ask any trans person and they can tell you how awful being misgendered makes them feel.
If the person does it on accident, move the fuck on. If the person's being a dick to you, call him a cunt and move the fuck on.
Misgendering a trans person causes real psychological harm. And not only that, but it contributes to physical harm too. Lots of factors contribute to the extraordinarily high rates of suicide among transgender people, but misgendering is definitely one of them. According to the 2014 National Transgender Discrimination Survey, 4.6% of the US population reported that they have attempted suicide at some point in their life, while that number was about 41% for trans people.
Oh, so you're giving stats now. Okay, here's this. The majority of victims of hate violence homicides in 2013, 72% were transgender women. Nice job taking a crap on people experiencing actual violence.
The 2015 US transgender study found that the rate of suicide attempts for trans people with unsupported families was 54%, while it was 37% for those with supported families.
No shit, Sherlock. And it still doesn't give a direct link from being called a he to a she and fucking suicide.
However you look at it, misgendering trans people causes real harm, and that applies to all trans people, not just the ones you like. Because there are some not so great trans people in this world, just as there are some not so great cis people.
I'm just gonna lower this pic down.
There are so many ways you can insult someone without disrespecting all trans people. And I know that sometimes you'll misgender someone unintentionally. Maybe you didn't know their pronouns, or you just made a mistake. That's fine. Just correct yourself, move on, and try not to do it again.
Excuse me, what?
You just said a couple minutes ago that it's an act of violence. So people can mistake a person's gender on accident. In your eyes, it's still an act of violence. Someday, but not today. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? I'm done with Riley J. Dennis. I think my point has been made clear. But to end this video, if anyone's watching if anyone watches these people and actually fucking listens and agrees with Riley J. Dennis or even Milo Stewart, well, I'm just gonna play this.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm Egghead. Thanks for watching. Oh my god, I want to end myself already. God, kill us now.